The jungle breathes differently at night. It is not quiet, far from it. The air vibrates with the hum of insects, the distant howl of howler monkeys, and the soft rustle of leaves where something unseen shifts in the dark. Moonlight filters down in fractured beams, breaking across the jagged silhouettes of stone pyramids half swallowed by vines. Once, these stones echoed with the chants of priests, the laughter of children, the rhythms of drums and flutes. Now they stand silent, their carvings worn but not erased, their faces still watching. This is the world of the ancient Maya, or what's left of it. They built cities that touched the sky, carved their histories into stone, tracked the movement of the heavens with a precision modern astronomers still marvel at. They ruled vast territories, traded with far-off lands, and created art, architecture, and mathematics that still inspire awe. And yet, by the time Europeans set foot on these shores, many of their grand cities had already been abandoned. Entire capitals gone. Great plazas empty, temples crumbling, fields overtaken by forest. What happened here? How could a civilization so advanced, so powerful, simply vanish? To understand the disappearance of the Maya, we must first understand their world. Between roughly 2000 BC and the 16th century, the Maya flourished in what is now southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and parts of Honduras and El Salvador. Their heartland was a region of dense rainforests, limestone plateaus, and rivers that swelled and shrank with the seasons. This was not an easy place to build an empire. The soil was thin, the climate unforgiving, and the terrain treacherous. And yet, the Maya thrived. They constructed sprawling cities like Tikal, Copan, Palenque, and Calakmul, urban centers with monumental temples, palaces, ball courts, and marketplaces. Towering pyramids rose above the jungle canopy, each step a labor of thousands of hands. They invented a complex writing system, hieroglyphics carved into stone stelae and painted in codices. They measured time through calendars so accurate that they could predict solar eclipses centuries in advance. Their kings ruled not only as political leaders, but as divine intermediaries, mediators between the human world and the gods. By the so-called Classic period, from around 250 to 900 AD, Maya civilization was at its peak. Populations swelled, art and science flourished, and alliances and rivalries played out in grand ceremonies and bloody wars. Then, something changed. The signs are scattered across the archaeological record, like a broken mosaic. Around the 8th and 9th centuries, inscriptions on monuments became less frequent, as though history itself had begun to stutter. Construction on grand buildings slowed, then stopped. Some cities show signs of violent conflict: burned palaces, smashed monuments, mass graves. Others were simply left behind. By 900 AD, many of the great southern lowland cities, including Tikal, were abandoned. For decades, archaeologists wrestled with the question, why? One theory points to the land itself. The Maya relied heavily on agriculture, especially maize. To feed growing populations, they cleared more forest, farmed more intensively, and expanded onto marginal lands. Over time, the soil may have degraded, crop yields fallen, and famine spread. Evidence from lake sediment cores shows periods of intense drought during the 9th century. Imagine a civilization already straining under political rivalries, now facing years of failed harvests, hunger gnawing at the edges of cities, leaders unable to provide, faith in divine kings eroding. Another theory emphasizes warfare. As resources grew scarce, competition between city-states may have intensified. The Maya world was not a unified empire, but a tapestry of independent polities, each vying for dominance. Armies clashed, alliances shifted, and once mighty cities could be toppled in a single campaign. Archaeologists have uncovered fortifications, mass burials, and inscriptions detailing captive-taking and the destruction of rival dynasties. In a landscape already pushed to its limits, war may have hastened the unraveling. There is also the possibility of political and social collapse from within. The divine kingship system tied the fate of a city to the perceived power of its ruler. When droughts struck or war were lost, rulers were seen as having lost the god's favor. Disillusionment may have led to revolts, the breakdown of authority, and the abandonment of once sacred centers. And then there is the climate data, perhaps the most compelling and sobering evidence. Studies of stalagmites from caves in Belize, as well as lake sediments, suggest a series of severe, prolonged droughts between the late 8th and 10th centuries. Without rivers like those in Mesopotamia or the Nile to sustain them, the Maya depended on seasonal rains. When those rains failed, so too did the systems that supported life in their cities. The truth, as is so often the case, may be a combination of these factors, an intricate web of environmental stress, political instability, warfare, and social upheaval. The collapse was not instantaneous, but unfolded over decades, perhaps centuries, as different cities fell at different times. And even then, it was not total. Because here's the part the word disappearance gets wrong. The Maya did not vanish. Their descendants are still here. Millions of Maya people live across the same regions today, speaking Maya languages, practicing traditions that reach back to their ancestors, and maintaining a cultural identity despite centuries of colonization and change. What disappeared was not a people, but a political order. The great cities, the divine kingship, the monumental construction. Still, the abandoned cities hold a haunting allure. To walk among the ruins of Tikal, its temples rising like stone mountains above the jungle canopy, is to feel the echo of a world both alien and familiar. To climb the steps of the Temple of the Inscriptions in Palenque and gaze out over the forest is to understand the vision and the fragility of a civilization that sought to bring the gods down to earth. There is an image I cannot shake, a Maya astronomer, centuries before the collapse, standing atop a temple at dawn. He watches the rising sun align perfectly with the stone markers below, a cosmic clock ticking towards some great turning point. Perhaps he knows nothing will last forever. Perhaps he believes the cycles of time will renew the world, and perhaps, in some way, they did, though not in the form he imagined. Great civilizations are like constellations, brilliant patterns in the night sky, each point of light the work of countless lives. They shine for a time, then fade, leaving only traces for us to piece together. The Maya's disappearance from their cities is not just a cautionary tale. It is a reminder of resilience, of adaptation, of the enduring threads of culture that survive long after stone has crumbled. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the tangled mysteries of the past. What do you think was the greatest force behind the Maya's disappearance? Drought, war, political upheaval, or something we have yet to uncover? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, please like, comment, and share. It truly helps keep these stories alive.